when you're playing games on your nice brand new PlayStation 5, not so new, does it go well, let me show you how to fix that. I'm Presley Customs. We'll be taking this whole thing apart today, cleaning it, and explaining all the inner workings. Let's get right into that. Before we get started, I'll show you the things you need. This is my Chardon little micro screwdriver set, one of the nicest tools I ever had. If you watch my PlayStation 3 video, we use this almost the whole time. You will need a TH8, I believe. Let me spin this around. T8H, and it looks like a, it's hard to see, let me zoom in here. It looks like a Allen bit with a circle in the middle of it, just specifically for consoles. You'll need one of these no matter what. You don't want to strip those screws out. And then you'll also need average Phillips. Any of these will work. Just try to see which one works best for you. You'll need a little plastic trim remover tool. This one I like a lot. Got like the rounded edge. It makes it easier to move around, and this side's thinner than the rest of it. So prying, you could use a paintbrush. This is an old dirty one I have, or electronic duster. You don't want to be too generous with this. Paintbrush is more for like fine details. This is for more bulk dust. I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol. I use this to clean dirt on anything, like the smudges that are back here on the cover itself. You don't want to put this near any electronics at all. I'm going to use 2 little magnetic trays just to keep track of all my screws. Try to make sure you use those well. I've seen some people that take these things apart. They have like a flat board with like the different squares to organize them. I'm just going to keep track. If you have trouble keeping track of screws and all that, take pictures, and lots of them. First, you're going to lay it down flat like this with your disc port up. If you have a disc port one, I'll make a separate video on how to take apart one without a disc port. It's very similar. You're going to grab this back left corner over here. You're going to pick up, and as you pick up, you're going to slide it to the right, that direction, and it should just come right off for you. Here she is. I have never cleaned this thing since I've had it for about 2 years now, honestly. So this is going to be, I'm going to collect a big dust bunny for you so we can see at the end of this. With the cover off separately, I'm just going to take my little brush and pick up all the dust that was on there. And for like darker spots like this, where like the paintbrush won't pick up, I'm going to take a paper towel and isopropyl alcohol and scrub it down. Let's get into that. Once you have the top piece off, you'll want to flip it over and have it laying this way with the disc port down. I laid down a little old t-shirt since I'm working on plywood. I don't want to scratch my machinery. And then you're going to do the opposite of what you just did. Pick up on the right corner and slide that way. Should be super duper easy. Up, over, see? And then now that I have these two off, I'll be cleaning them with the isopropyl alcohol and dusting them off. And I'll show you what it looks like after. Damn, boy. Yeah. Oh. The last 2 times I was recording, I cleaned the other side. All I said was to pick out the big swabs of dust and then clean up everything else roughly with your little pin. Don't be afraid to drop dust down in there because we're going to be taking this thing completely apart to clean it. So we'll get to that later. Just try to get everything off the surface area first. With the rubbing alcohol and the cases, it won't perfectly clean your deeper spots. I don't know how to get that off. If you have any ideas on how to clean that better, let me know. But for the most part, the discoloration, it will take care of. And then once you get all this dust clean, we'll be using this trim remover. You'll want to come over here on the left side right here. And then very carefully, since this is pretty flimsy plastic, you'll want to try to get underneath this bottom piece and pull up. Let me get my thinner side. And then be careful though, since this is so flimsy, you don't want to break it. You'll feel it pop too. Sorry, buddy. I'm gonna try from this side. Well, actually, it looks like I can just pull it up with my fingers. Still be careful with it though. You do not want to break this piece with how thin it is. Once this piece is off, you can go in between all your little vent ports and clean properly. Now that we're back to this side, I went ahead and put the vent piece on that side because I don't plan on touching or cleaning that side anymore. You might notice that yours may be a little bit different than mine. Some PlayStations, this piece right here is longer. I don't have a warranty sticker. I just have a normal sticker right here. If you do have a warranty sticker here, if you're worried about a warranty, don't mess with it because it'll void it. I'll prop y'all back up and I'll show you how to get out this fan and get into the inner workings. Now that you got your whole outer casing clean, you're gonna need your little plastic trim remover and you're gonna pull up on this piece. This is like a sticker, so be careful of the wires underneath. It's not too sturdy. Let me get this thinner. There we go. And then, this got dust on it. I'm gonna lay this upside down to keep the sticky preserved. Just set that to the side. Under here, you just have a normal clip. I see a lot of people using trim tools to get this little piece out. I'm just gonna use my fingers. Be careful with the wires. That thing is itty bitty though. I recommend wiggling it back and forth and don't tug too hard on the wires. Try to tug on the whole unit. If that doesn't work, get both your fingernails and pull towards you. Almost got it. There we go. And once you got that out, you're going to take that T8H that I was talking to you about with the little inside bit. You're going to take your screwdriver and you'll be removing these 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you get those 4 screws out and this clip undone, make sure your wires don't get caught. Pull straight up on this piece. Now, you can dust this off. This honestly isn't that dirty. Got a lot of airflow on this, so most of the dust is inside of the fan itself. I will be putting the screws back in place the way they came out. So if this was on here like this, I would drop each screw in the place it was whenever you took them out, right back into that spot. And then I'll turn it upside down and lay it to the side. Because in these later steps, you'll be taking out a whole lot of screws, so you don't really want to be wasting your container on something that can stay inside of the housing. If it gives you trouble, just move it. Try to keep a track of everything you do. You don't want lost screws in the middle of this. This piece right here should slide straight up now, just like so. Okay. That is horrible. I don't know if the camera's picking that up the way I think it is. It's better, might be look better than the naked eye. I'm gonna be going through every single one of these, cleaning it on this side and the back. Once you get your fan out and cleaned, also, I've waited so long that this isn't going to be perfect. I got a bulk of the dust, but there's like layers on the thinner pieces there that I can't get off of a brush or a Q-tip, so it's good enough for me. You're going to take your just normal Phillips, not your special console bit, and you're going to remove this screw right here. It has a little PlayStation logo on it. And then you'll take this whole panel out and then pick up on this side and then pull towards you. Whenever you put it back in, make sure this clip goes in first. I'll show you that as well. Same with the fan cover. I'm just gonna leave the screw in there so I don't take up space inside my containers. And then right here, I don't even know what that is. Just another screw for you to take off to take this cover off. And then this piece back here, some people have warranty stickers there. I do not currently. And I've seen people use trim removers to get that out. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna use my knife, especially since this is underneath the case. So even if I do scratch it, you won't be able to tell. I don't have a warranty sticker, so I don't care about keeping this sticker intact. Just gonna get under there and pull straight up. once I get enough to pull with my hand, pull that sucker off. And then now you'll want to move back to your T8H bit. And everywhere that there's an arrow, you're going to run to remove that screw. And then there's some spots without an arrow, like up here in this corner. Just be mindful of that.
So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 on the other side of the disc port right here. I'm going to take those out quickly and I'll get back with the case off.
So about halfway through, I changed my mind on taking out all the bolts and collecting them separately, and I decided to leave them in there. It will be harder to pull up if you do that, but as long as you apply just a little bit of pressure and make sure everything's loose, this will be easier to keep track of all your screws. Later, you'll just have to sit it right over and screw them in, okay? So I'm gonna set this to the side where none of these pieces will fall out or be tampered with, and I'll get back to the inside. All right, now that I got that cover off and taken out of the way, got my light charged up a little bit more, this is the inner workings of your PlayStation 5. Let me get this a little bit closer. I try to move my camera up higher again just because I wanted a better top-down angle, but I don't know if you'll be able to get the full distance from it. Now that we have this out, you're going to move these wires a little bit out of the way, and those will have a little metal prong that you press down. It's hard to see. Press down and you pull this tab out. Once you have that pressed down, I'm going to use my trim remover to pop it down. There we go. And then you'll want to do the same to this side. Press this little metal piece down and just pull on this. Actually, I'll leave that in there. Then I'm going to remove this fuse right here, this little cable from the disk drive itself. It's in a pretty tricky spot. Let me grab some pliers. These are probably too heavy duty, but I'm gonna get in there and make sure I be careful. Do not squeeze on your little clip too hard. You don't want to break it. You just want to pull it up evenly on both sides. There we go. Now that I have that out, your disk drive should come just straight up and out. And then I'll clean this up a little bit, dust it off, and set this to the side. I'll lay it right down here, actually. Once you have all this off, you need to disconnect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of these little mechanical clips. This one, these are pretty easy. I see people use tweezers to pull these out. I've always just used my fingers. I don't know if that's bad advice, but I haven't managed to break anything yet. Pull out this bottom one. And then now these four are a little bit trickier. I don't think you're supposed to touch these with your fingers, especially if they're dirty. But I'm a rebel, actually. I'm going to put on one of my black gloves just to pull those up, because I've decided to start following the rules. Let me get in here real close so I can get a better look. 1. 2. It actually helps to pull from the base of the wire forward. That's what I'm finding to be the most helpful. 4, okay. And then once you have those 4 removed and all these, you can now pull up these little tape pieces just enough to pull your wires out. Be careful not to cut them if you're going to use a knife like me. All right, just enough. Pull those out of the way. This one too. Oh, nice, I'm cutting it. That'll be okay. Now, pull these out of this tape and then zigzag them through these little metal spots. And then just pull these out of your way. Now that everything's disconnected, you will be removing all these metal screws around here. Just follow as I take them off. You'll see what you need to take off. This is one of your smaller radiators. This is what is really causing my problems and making noise. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. This is the radiator, the little baby one, and this is the big one, and that's like what's controlling the heat of your PlayStation. So that's what we're trying to get to clean. I'm going to put this in fast forward and dust this a little bit. Okay, so once you take out all those screws on the front, there's going to be 2 screws on the back of your case. Just one on here and one to the left. And then now you'll have just this piece right here. The whole assembly that I took out has the radiator that we need to clean. I'm going to go through and thoroughly clean this once my light gets charged up the rest of the way. Be careful not to touch the processor or anything with dirty hands. You just want to be as careful as you can with this thing. This is your PlayStation right here in my hands, you know what I mean? So I'll be dusting off these fans, just trying to clean them as much as I can. And I'm going to put this right back because I'm ready to play my game. You know, I'm ready to play my game quietly. So as soon as that light gets charged, I'll finish this video. All right. So I just went ahead and cleaned that piece while my lamp was charging so you guys can actually see stuff. I took my brush to it, I blew on it. This is like your radiator. Honestly, I don't completely know how this works. I know how a car radio works. You got like antifreeze flowing through it, and I see these copper coils through here, but I know there's no liquid in them, is there? I don't know. I just don't know. I'll have to look into that and get some more research on that. Now, with everything apart, this is your PSU right here. Your power supply unit. I went ahead and tried to dust this off too, especially right here where these little vent pieces are. You'll make sure to clean those really well. Now when you're getting everything back together, you'll want to pull all these little wires and stuff out of the way because we're about to lay that piece back in here, okay? Excuse me, sorry, not very professional of me. And if you look right here, this is like a little 2-prong port inside of this hole. I'll hold it up so you can see right here. So whenever you lay your piece back in, this piece right here, you're going to line those up first. So I'm going to go to the left. Okay. Slide my little groove in right here. My groove in over here. Make sure that piece of tape's out of the way. I'm going to fold this out without breaking it. Bring her down. I'm going to also grab this piece, trying not to break it, and this piece, and then she'll slide right into place. Try not to drop it too hard. There we go. You'll feel everything pop back into place. Push down, not too hard. You don't want to break the dang thing. You just want to get it back in there snugly. From here, you're going to reclip these little clips right here. So this one goes straight into there. Nice. And you want to get it to the black line on those little tape pieces. I'm actually going to have to watch my own video to see if this is the white and this is the black. I believe it is, but I just want to double check and make sure before I plug anything up. I will rerun these back through. I'll also have to see which one goes where. So if you're doing this with me, just rewatch my video to the part that I got to. If you already know where your stuff went because you got a better memory than me, then go ahead and put it back, wise guy. Put it back where you think it goes, buddy. I ain't your daddy. So once you get these hooked up, make sure to plug this one back in as well. Be very careful with this one. I normally don't see ones this thick, so it makes me nervous. This is like going to your PSU, so I'm sure you'll know if it has any trouble. Make sure to press down that metal clip. This one goes into here as well. I believe this is your power button going right into the processor, motherboard, whatever you want to call it. I know it's not a processor though. All right, and now that you got all of this hooked back up, I'm going to start putting in all my screws again, but start off with the long ones. So this one goes here. I'm going to try to just get it hand tight. Come on, sucker. It was not getting hand tight, so I'm going to strip her down in there. You know how it goes. If it don't fit, make it fit. I'm going to pick this piece back up. Look how dirty this shirt is. It wasn't that dirty before. This way. And I'm going to take my screws and put them back in their slots. Be careful not to push this over while you got it like that. You might have to apply pressure to the one side for it to get a bite. Yeah, there you go. You don't want to over torque these or anything too. You just want to get them snug. It's not a car. There's no spec sheet, I don't think. There might be, and I'm just stupid, but if so, it is what it is. There we go. All right, and then this piece back over. I'm going to lay this back into place. I believe it goes just like so. And now all these screws. My only black one is in that top corner. I remember that. Well, this long one and that one. And then the rest will just fall into place. This will also be in fast forward. And by the time that the video starts back up, I'll have these little connectors up here in the right spot because I'll replay my video. So next time you'll see me, I'll be zipping all these in and putting everything back together. I put all these screws back in. It was just for this plate right here. I put all these screws back in and I didn't hit record, so I just laid it right back over. Make sure this is snug and lined up. Now I'm going to put the rest of these pieces back in. And then remember, this side goes in first. Like tilt it all the way up, then down. Very good. Get your Phillips, because that's the only Phillips screw in this whole entire thing, I feel like. I haven't seen any other ones. Boom. All right. Make sure you put all your tools back up properly. That's mostly all the screws. Now let's get this fan back in here. You want this side down. Line up your prongs. Then you're going to run these wires under, and then plug this in. Be careful. Don't want to break any wires. This is just in a tight spot right here. It's hard to fit your hand in there. Alright. Still a little bit dusty. It'll be alright. It'll be alright. And then I'm going to take this. I'm going to flip her this way. Like so. I believe like so. It seems a little bit wobbly. That'd be all right. And this one. And this one. And why is it not going flush? I got this thing on upside down. I don't believe so. Alright, now that that's in there, this side is the disc port side. You're going to put it on, tilt this up, down, and then you're going to pop it to the right, like so, and then push down on your little corners. That's good enough. And then to the other side, flip this back over, and then take this, and then you know how we moved it this way? You're going to just line up these little ports, and then you'll hear it pop into place. And there we go. Fully taken apart, fully cleaned. The reason that I'm doing another console video is because I am broke right now. This Thursday, so 4 days from now, my dash kit is coming in from Walmart, and dash kit harness adapter, so I'll have another Buick LeSabre video of me hooking up the radio. Another 2 to 3 weeks from now, I'm going to Seymour, Indiana to get the dash pad, get the driver headlight, get a restoration kit, put in new LEDs, have all that going, and then so April I will probably be doing mostly fluids, so super flush on the radiator and the coolant, probably be adding a new AC compressor and emptying and refilling my Freon, and probably replacing my valve cover and a top treat oil change. And then after all of that's done, I got to get 4 tires, and once everything's tip top to drive around is whenever we're going to start doing more custom stuff. So painting, aftermarket headlights, subs, spoiler maybe on the Buick LeSabre. I think that'd be funny. Just anything that I could think of. I'll probably practice welding on that car as well. I'm going to get this hooked up, and I'll record the final verdict if it's so loud still. So let's go see. Here's the moment of truth. Lights on. HDMI working and all. Forget that you can see my reflection in the TV. That's pretty interesting. Do y'all hear that? Yeah, me neither. Thing is super quiet. I should have did it before and after. After everything's said and done, I do still have 2 screws, one to the case and one to the fan. The thing is, those silver screws that I put back in, 2 of them I put in the wrong spot. Not the end of the world. Me personally, I don't care. I know it's bad to say, a little bit irresponsible, or you're like, how am I supposed to take advice from this guy if he don't care? Don't, if you don't want to take advice. Just make sure you put all your screws back. Here's the dust bunny. This is where all that noise was coming from. She's quiet as she can be now. Probably last me a little bit longer. It was much needed. I'm gonna put this in my pillow for extra cushioning. Thank y'all for watching this far. If you made it this far, let me turn this off so maybe you can see me. Go check out my other YouTube videos. I have a PS3 one. Mostly I work on cars. If you're a new time viewer, I'd love a subscribe, a like, or something. Any kind of feedback. Let me know if you like PlayStation or Xbox. What do you play on these consoles? Me personally, I'm going to play some Fallout 4 again. Thanks for watching, and Christ is Lord.